Okay, so today we're going to talk about the area or finding the area in a rectangle. Okay, so the word area looks like this. And the word area will also be in your glossary at the back of your student reference book, just in case you forget what the definition is. But you should have already read page 221 in your student reference book and completed journal page 5 in your math journal. So what you can do is go back and after this video, change any answers that you need to change if so, like on numbers 3 and 4 specifically, because you are finding the area on those. So what is area? And today we're specifically talking about rectangles, okay? So you have a rectangle, and in order to find the area, we're going to pretend that we have these unit squares that look just like this, and this is one square unit. Okay, so to find the area, we would need to determine how many of these can fit into that rectangle, and that's going to be our area. So I'm going to create them myself and pretend this is perfect. So how many of these are in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm losing my spot. 10, 11, 12. So my area is 12 square units. Okay. So I don't have my eraser on me. So just counting the squares inside of a rectangle is one way to find the area of a rectangle. So a few things to point out is that the area is the surface or the inside measurement of a closed boundary, such as a rectangle. It's the whole or partial unit squares that fit inside the boundary. So you could have a half of a unit square fit inside the boundary, but you would only count it as a half of a square, not a full square. So then the whole unit squares should all be the same size. So you can't have one unit square that looks like this and one unit square that looks like this. They need to be the exact same size. They should not overlap, so you cannot have a unit square that looks like this and then have the next one look like that. Notice that they're overlapping. You can't do that to find the area. And there should be no gaps. So what I mean by that is if you have one unit square and then create the next one right next to it, see that gap between the two? You can't have that happening in order to find the area. So it's convenient. Squares are a convenient way to find the area of a rectangle because they fit nicely within that rectangle. Okay, you can make it so they don't overlap. You can make it so they are, one side of one square is attached to the other side of the other square. So another way that you can do this is to know the measurement of the top and the side. Because if you remember from rectangles, the measurement on the top of a rectangle is always the same as the measurement on the bottom of the rectangle. And then same with the sides. The measure of this side is always the same measurement as this side. So if you had the top measurement is 5 inches, then that would tell you, I don't even have to write it, that the bottom measurement is also 5 inches. Okay. Then if I had 2 inches as this measurement from here to here, then I don't even have to write it because I already know that the opposite side of a rectangle is going to be the exact same measurement. So that would also be 2 inches. So when you're given the top or the bottom, because they're both the same, and then one of the sides, all you need to do to find, like if you didn't have squares in here, then you would just need to multiply the length times the width, which is 5 times 2 equals 10. Okay, so the area of this rectangle is 10. And what that means is this 5 would tell me that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unit squares across in every row. Oops, I did that a little bit wrong. And that there are 1, 2 inches going from here to here. So there's 2 rows here and 5 columns. Okay. So if you counted up the squares, it would give you that length times the width, which was 10. So that's 2 ways to find the area of a rectangle. Okay. So good formula for you to remember is area equals L times W. A stands for the area, which is what you're trying to find in this case. And if you're given the length of the rectangle and the width of the rectangle, then you can find the area. So if you had a rectangle that was 6 inches long and 3 inches wide, your area is going to be the answer to this, which is 18. Okay? So area is the inside measurement. So if I took this whiteboard and I was finding the area, it would be the measurement of this brown space. Okay? So then I would just measure, let's say this is 8 inches across and this is 6 inches down, so that would be 8 times 6 to give me the whole measurement of the area. So 48 inches squared because we're counting the squares. All right, so now you're going to do a little bit of a practice and go ahead and go to the next assignment on Schoology.